Hey, Denis, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Ciao Stefano,
So, what's
how
going
are
on?
you?
I'm okay, can't complain. Italy is treating me well. What about you? How's New York?
It's interesting. It's interesting. The energy is obviously out of the city because everything's empty. But I must say I'm noticing things that I never noticed before because there are no distractions. So I go out on a bike maybe once or twice a week, and just go around the streets all empty. Like somehow I find it inspiring.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of your posts actually. I've been seeing a New York that I've never thought I would see. Flowers on the trees, empty streets. It was kind of inspiring, living there and not being there in such an historical moment. I kind of feel it like a miss for me. I don't know. I mean,
It's it is it's surreal, and I don't know if ever you're gonna see New York like this. And but it's really cool to see that people are taking it seriously. So they don't really go out. They take precautions. They have masks and gloves, and they keep the distance. So New Yorkers are doing a great job. The city is not what you used to see. It's a different thing right now. But it's still special.
hmm. Yeah, when you see a place like New York that is so chaotic with nobody, it must feel unreal. Like that movie with Will Smith. What was the title? I don't remember anymore. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I Am Legend.
yeah. That was, back then looking at the movie, said, fuck, that's never gonna happen. But through the reality of today, it's exactly that thing. We're just missing the lions walking outside on the street.
Yeah, different kind of lions walking now, but it's you can on a bike. So I do it on a bike. On a bike, you can go from the tip of Manhattan to the park like really quickly, like 15-20 minutes you're there. The commute is so fast right now, so you can see a lot. I see a lot every time. I explore streets that normally I've never been to. I've seen in Chinatown, I've seen hairdresser stores open that you are not allowed to, with clients inside, and Chinese people chasing me because I'm taking photos. It's really good. Everyone is living this surreal moment in their own way.
Is the typical New York, right? So
Yeah,
something happen in the law, under the law, around the law, but something is always
yeah.
happening. What about
That's what we love about New York.
what about your work right now? Is your office and your studio closed? How's that being managed?
Yeah, so I mean, also for all your viewers, what I do, like I'm a creative director in Adidas, and we have a creative office here in New York, in Brooklyn, and this is where we do a lot of good stuff, products, great partners here, creative direction for the season, innovation, etc. At the moment, we are closed. The office is closed, so everyone's working from home. And we are learning that although we miss each other and we miss the physical interaction and working hands-on product, we are also learning that there are some positives. Like we are much more efficient, we are much more focused. Um, the intensity of the job is higher. So I think as we go back, there are some learnings from here that we definitely want to continue keeping as part of our back to reality works and jobs.
But I have been to your amazing studios in Brooklyn, and what struck me when I get there all the time is seeing so many prototypes and machines and people working, on new ideas, but physically. So how
Yeah.
are you guys able to overcome that lack of, of workability? Because at the end, if you're home, you might be limited in doing that. Are you guys working? Are
Well,
you guys working at home with machines?
no, no. So we definitely miss that physical aspect. But the benefit on the other side is that now we have designers that were maybe more traditional, sketch on paper, a little Photoshop here and there. starting to use 3D software because they cannot build the prototypes. So they are looking at new ways of building in 3D. So they are starting to use 3D software. Cool. And people are developing their skills. So it's really interesting to see, because when you give someone a new tool, new outcome comes out of it. So now I'm looking at designers that are using 3D and they never used 3D, and they're coming up with new ideas, new forms, new designs that, you know, it was just unexpected from them. So I love it.
So it's quite interesting. So basically you're saying that we are forced to find new ways to work, and some new interesting ways of doing things are popping out of that. That's quite brilliant, actually. And
I think that everything we do is about evolution. Like, just like the earth doesn't stay still, nothing has to stay still. If you stay still, you die. So this situation is forcing an evolution. It's forcing an acceleration of a change. So that's a good part. That's a good side of this.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say this. I've been thinking about a lot also about my job, about things that I can do differently, new opportunities that will come up. Now with social distancing, for instance, I'm thinking bars, clubs, restaurants, entertainment in general will be completely different. So I'm having my mind spinning, saying, how can we entertain people in the next months? You know, what will they do if they cannot go and socialize in the standard way that is, you know, coming together? So it's been quite interesting. As you know, people play a lot video games in this moment, so it's great for what we're doing with our project at Decave, and it's actually probably the most exploded channel right now. I mean, they just had a Travis Scott concert on
oh yeah,
was pretty impressive. So I mean, there is a lot happening, and you can see that whatever was maybe niche before is becoming mass now. It's quite interesting. We're all shifting our gears and the way we work, where we think, we do things, we socialize. Let's see where we will end up. It's interesting.
So from a Decave perspective, now you definitely have more activity when it comes to gaming and online gaming. I think I have a lot of friends that I know, a lot of athletes that are actually playing. I heard about the Formula One races online, where Formula One real drivers and the Formula 3 drivers are competing in the same tournaments. It's amazing, right? So what do you think is going to be the impact of that on Decave and the Decave's future?
But you know, it's definitely gonna change all the perspective, because if something that before was thought as niche, and even though as a matter of fact there are millions of people that are already playing and watching gamers and streamers, now it's almost like we broke that barrier of it's for everybody. Because if you have the fanatics of Formula One that before most likely were an older generation watching it on TV, you know, now basically they're forced to shift into an esport channel, an esport arena, an esport mindset. It's a virtual, you know, it's a game, and it's moving them into a world that they didn't know. So the potential for people like us that are really trying to bringing a lifestyle into this environment, it's huge. It's huge. And what we're trying to do specifically, we are working with streamers, giving them space on our Twitch channel, on our IG. We're doing contests, we're doing contents. You know, we're really trying to get as many people as possible playing on our point of contacts with our fan base. So yeah, there's a lot to do. Maybe too much. It's too much of an accelerator. It's hard to keep up.
It's always the most important things. It's always to edit, right? Because when you work with creative people, there are always a lot of ideas. So editing is very important. But you know, I've been thinking about how this situation is impacting the reality of gaming. And you mentioned like Travis Scott like 2 days ago with Fortnite concert, and you guys had a when you did the pop-up here in New York, like you had a very strong merchandising offering, right? And I think it would be really interesting to see some of your merchandising in the games actually. And this is your point of sale, point of marketing, let's say. I fall in love with your merchandise in the game, but then I reach out to you and buy it physically. Like that could be a really interesting merge of digital and physical.
No, absolutely. Skins, etc. I mean, now it's the moment. I wish we had some more time and strength to really already have been it happening, but we're gonna get there. It's actually a very good point. It's something that we're trying to develop right now. So maybe it will be something you will see soon on our channel. Listen, talking about amazing stuff, I know that you have also been doing something with your family that actually I'm wearing, right? Some gift friends with, I don't know if I can call it your label. I want to call it your name because is DKVC is Dekovic. So do you want to tell me more about it?
Well, so I have a job, right? And I love, actually, it's not my job, it's my passion. And I'm just lucky that they pay me for it because it's a dream of mine, what I do. But I always have ideas. So specifically about this DKVC line or collection or brand, I have two kids, two teenagers, Ari and Nico, and they're both very creative. So as a parent, you hope that you can teach them something, but really when they become a teenager, your job as a teacher is already done. So I looked into new ways of creating platforms for them to learn, and this is one idea. So what we did as a family, all the four of us, we decided to create a brand. We decided the name, we decided the labels, etc. And then each of us designs a product and needs to work with a manufacturer, needs to create marketing around it, and needs to distribute those products. Now, one thing that we decided is that we will not sell the product, because the moment you commit to sell, you create some kind of financial pressure. And that's not the point here. The point here is just the experience. So what we do, we create products that we love. We created with maximum quality. So usually we reach out to our connections, craftsmen in Italy. And then we market these products by basically giving it away only to family, friends, and good people. So if you're in one of those three categories, you may get the product, and I'm happy to see that you're wearing one.
I'm a lucky.
But if you don't fit this category, then you're out of luck. You cannot get it. So that's the basic idea.
It's actually a great concept, and the fact that you're able to do it with your family, it's even more interesting. It's an opportunity to bond, and maybe you can inspire some people. I think it's a great thing to do with your kids. So hard today to get them to do something together with their parents. I know as well. I have a daughter. I mean, they get stuck into their world of videos, YouTube, games, and they don't see you anymore. But anyway.
Yeah. Today, not just kids, but ourselves. There are a lot of distractions. You have so many different platforms to watch different shows, different movies, different this, different that. So many restaurants, video games, stores, fashion labels. Like those are all distractions because these things are important. But if you jump on each of them, they take time away from you, from what's really important to you and your life. So it's really a key to decide what's important for you. In this case, my kids, and giving them some experiences, share some of the experiences I have accumulated in my past 25 years in the industry, and basically create some opportunities for them in the future. But yeah, today it's really hard because we are all distracted by all the shiny objects around us.
Listen, talking about distraction, something came to my mind while you were speaking. What are the things that inspire you? What are the things that instead gets you and make you move and get inspired to create something or do something differently? Where do you find the inspiration? You mentioned something before about going around, look in the street, the people, etc. But is there anything else? Do you have a process, a way of doing it?
It's probably what people ask designers the most, where do you find your inspiration? And in the past, when I was younger, I would have told you, depending on when you asked me the question, I would have told you, like, maybe it's the cars, or maybe it's fashion. At one moment was the furniture designers. Sometimes it's people, but then it evolved, and you really understand that it's not what's around you that inspires you, but it's something within you that it's ready to be a sponge and absorb things when they happen. So at the moment, what I find inspiration, what triggers my imagination, is usually the people. And it's two kinds of people. It's either my customers, the clients, in my case, the athletes we design for, understanding their needs, their wants, understanding their dreams. It's really what fuels the creativity and what we create. Retail, market, stores, etc. This is all a service to our clients, our customers. So it's always customers. So this is one group of people that inspires and informs what I do. Okay. The other group of people are amazing creatives that do things like nobody else. Whether it's an artist, a musician, a designer, a chef, someone that thinks different, somebody that perfects his craft or her craft so much that it becomes unique and it becomes an undeniable advantage. And they create gaps, like when Travis did the concert 2 days ago, boom, that creates a gap. Now everyone needs to chase. When a famous chef creates a new way of innovating on the food, so when you eat the food, you experience something for the very first time, but in the same time you enjoy it. That's innovation. So innovators inspire me a lot, I must say.
And that's the $1 million question I always wanted to ask you. So can you tell me some names of people that really struck you? You like met them and had the opportunity to spend time with them. You said, wow, this guy, this girl, this person is really amazing.
I've been doing this for 25 years, so a lot of people, a lot of people.
Tell me, come on, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some names and some examples, and they all strike me in a different way. So, for example, Kanye is a genius obsessed with creating something that has never been done before. Like, he loves product, he loves art, he loves quality. And what really struck me about him is his drive, his obsession for, he has a clear vision of what he wants to get, and he's not gonna stop. He's gonna get it done.
Huge determination.
So yeah, absolutely incredible. Like, can't tell him, really, like he says in the song, you can't tell him nothing. Like, he believes in himself, he's confident, he has his vision, and he proved it to be successful. So his vision is right, Another one that we talked about often recently, it's Pharrell. And now I'm picking two musicians first, but not for the music, although I admire their music. Like Pharrell's commitment and vision for humanity, I find it very inspiring, because it really is about that. You know, it is about, for all of us, it's about life. We are just like a little sparks, a little moments in the long journey of life, and not just of human life, but in general. And Pharrell, he really has that sensitivity to people, to the planet, and for him it goes beyond the planet. For him, it's about the spirit, it's about the universe ultimately. So his philosophy is very inspiring to me. Another person that inspired me also from a completely different perspective was Naomi Campbell, the model, but not as a model again. Like what I learned from her is like, get things done now. So you have an idea, you don't delay it to tomorrow morning. So I remember once we were working on some t-shirt designs for a concert dedicated to Nelson Mandela together, and we would brainstorm and think about names to work with on these t-shirts. As we told, she's picking up the phone and calling these people, and she's not gonna hang up until she gets a commitment from them. So it's like very, very driven on getting things done, and that's why I think she's able to be the most prolific. But not only icon in fashion. Like, she's doing amazing things for charity. I think she's the most charitable celebrity. She's doing amazing things in Africa, with schools in Africa, with children in Africa. She's breaking down barriers for racial barriers that have existed in fashion for a long time. She broke them themselves, but she's not done. She continues to open the door for others. I find her like an amazing person. Then athletes. I mean, I can be here talking for an hour about athletes.
But you know, what I find on what you're saying is that each of the person that you're talking about, I see, a common thread that is a huge determination and strong drive to get it, and it's something, it sounds banal. It sounds almost give it for granted, but at the end it is what really makes the difference, that makes you.
Yeah, like when you look at an object, or you look at a song or a movie, you can admire that movie, but there's something that enabled that movie or a song or an object to exist, and it's the process, is the mind behind it, and that's what I find inspiring. So when I look at any of these amazing people, like, I don't look at the outcome, I look at how they got there, because I can learn from it. And honestly, it inspires me, because the lesson I learned it probably first on my own skin, is that anything is possible. Anything is possible. I mean, I come from a 10,000 people little town in Croatia. And at age 15, I had a dream of being a footwear designer. How do you go from little town in Croatia to getting a job in design? There was not even a design school in whole Croatia. Anything is possible. You have to be very passionate. You have to work hard every day, every night. And you have to be clever. You have to observe everything and understand the dynamics behind it, so that you can connect the dots and make it to the end.
Totally true and inspiring. Another thing that I found a lot in very interesting and amazing people is their curiosity, the level of the curiosity that they have. So they like to ask you questions. They don't always like to talk about themselves. So there is a level of gain there. They want to gain information to elaborate them, so they can get inspire and evolve their thought. That is is not something banal. I mean, again, most of the people, 90% of the time, when they hear somebody speaking, they don't listen. So I found that the most amazing people that I met, they had this capacity to stop and literally get what you're saying, and that, you know, drives you also, like lives your karma also to them, because you feel, listen,
Of course.
yeah, it works. It's
Yeah.
it's really amazing. Oh wow, there is a lot that I would like to talk to you about and ask you about, but there is also one thing that, you know, is linked to my world, that is about video games. So I mean, I know you have a big passion for shoes, for sportswear, and fashion in general, but I want to know if you ever had, and if you still have, a passion for video games, and what you were playing, what you're still playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, so that may not be as interesting to your audience, because, you know, I'm a different age and obsessed by slightly different things. So, you know, the games I'm playing and the games I played are different era, very different era. But I'll tell you a story. When I got my first job, so I moved out of my parents' house. I was 19, first time living alone in Italy, and I never ever played video games in my whole life. So my whole childhood, teenage years, I never turned on. I never saw video game. So I moved to Italy, and I see, you know, Sony just launched the PlayStation 1. I think it was 95 or 96, and Tomb Raider. So, you know, I'm alone, I'm bored. Other than being at work at home, I'm bored. So I buy this PlayStation and Tomb Raider. I didn't sleep. I was playing all nights and then going straight to work. Like it was incredible. I was completely absorbed by the virtual world, completely absorbed. And then from there, you know, I continued, and still today, I love these kind of like adventure games. I'm really bad at any kind of competitive games. I love playing FIFA, for example. We play FIFA in the office often. You know, just take probably way too many breaks, but that's what is good. It creates a little competition. So I play a little FIFA from time to time. I will play some racing games or some fighting games or shooting games, but I'm really not good at that. What I enjoy the most is the adventure, and I get so absorbed by the game that I feel I'm there. So any kind of games that are like Resident Evil, anything like zombie-like, I cannot play because I'm scared.
I was a big GTA player back in the,
Uh-huh.
I think the first and the second one. I mean, I spent hours, you know, faking my life in being a tough guy from the street, and
Yeah, yeah.
how many hours, days, months I spent there. And still
Oh,
today, you know, now that we are stuck at home, I took out my old PS, and I found, I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4, and I'm still there. You know, I can't get rid of it. I mean, it's pretty intense. I don't know.
it's a very cool game. Very cool game. I played it. I don't remember which version I played, but it was really cool. But I also remember once buying a Gran Turismo back when, you know, you used to buy whatever the discs. I don't know if today people buy discs. I just buy my games online. But I remember, and when you brush the disc, it would release a smell, and the smell was the oil from the garage. So, you know, for me that was so cool. Like I had a video game that smelled like garage. Uh, Back then, you know, people were, as they are designing video games, they're also thinking about the 360 experience, which they do today as well. But this is the first time I noticed this 360 experience.
Yeah, and virtual reality now, it's a big thing as well. Anyway,
Yeah.
hoping that our reality and our life will get back to be real and not virtual anymore. I want to thank you for the time. It's always a pleasure seeing you, talking to you, and I really hope to see you and your beautiful family soon. Maybe New York, maybe in Italy, maybe somewhere else adventurous. But thank you from me and from the D Cave crew for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me and for the chat. It's always great talking to you, man.